So right now, it's a blessing to introduce this next segment. I get to host it, so we're gonna have a good time. It's something new that a baby is doing because we believe the arts and introspection, education, creating, all of these things come with something very valuable in mind, and that's being able to let loose, to let your inhibitions go, to take those walls down, and through doing that, you can self-reflect, you can look at your past, you can look at where you are now, and make better decisions on where you can go in the future. So for this next segment, I want to invite you all to do just that. So right now, I want to bring our next guest up, Mr. Darius Woot Johnson himself. I'm gonna call you Woot for the rest. I'm going straight. We're going straight to the heart, my brother.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you.
So it's a blessing to be here. You're now tuned in to Journal and Sip. I go by the name of Brian Kirk White. That's Brian like Kobe. Kirk like Frank and White like the color. As the executive director of a baby. It's dope to host this. So I want you to introduce yourself real quick because we got some things to get into, but you got to do a lot of talking.
Absolutely. No, I'm all for it. So thank you again, man. Thank y'all for having me. I go by the name of Woot. That's pretty much, I mean, the music industry know me as. Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Currently, I am the director of A&R publishing for an independent label that goes by the name of Upperclassmen Music Group, based in Atlanta and Orlando. Also, I had the A&R operations for one of the biggest publishing companies, Song Trust Music Publishing, and we're partnered with Downtown Music Publishing, but we're based in LA and New York, but I kind of had the operations here in Atlanta for them.
There we go. See, right there. So right now with Journal and Sip, what we want you to do as a viewer, and also what both of us will be doing, is we want you to have something to write with, whether it be your phone or a book, a journal. So make sure you have something to write with. So when we're journaling, what we're going to be doing is self-reflecting, which is extremely valuable when it comes to that introspective journey. We want to be able to ask ourselves questions, ask each other questions, just to figure out, who am I really? What have I really been through? And what does that mean about where I am today and where I can go in the future? So we're gonna kick this off because it's another thing I need everyone viewing to have. I need you to have a mixed concoction. A mixed concoction.
Concoction. There we go.
Alcoholic or non-alcoholic. Right now, we're gonna roll with something with the latter. So you are able to sip. All right. So what are you drinking? What you drinking?
I did a lot. I'm doing Crown on the Rocks, regular Crown on the Rocks.
Crown on the Rocks. All right. So myself, I'm gonna keep it a little festive. I got right now we got a cinnamon sugar rim. Right.
Okay.
We're gonna go we go Bombay. We're gonna go Bombay and apple cider. Right. A little more sugar than I usually do, but it's the holiday season, man. It's the holiday season.
I'm here for it.
So now that we all have something to sip, I want to dig into your life. So first question I got is, who are you? Like, where are you from? Like, what did you go through? Like, go. I want you to go until you stop.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, I'm from Atlanta. I'm born and raised here on the west side of Atlanta. MLK, Adamsville, Bankhead, that whole area was kind of where I grew up at. I'm the youngest of two. My mom and biological father, I'll say, started early. She had my brother when she was 21, had me when I was 25. So we was an average, middle class, family. Like growing up, you don't know that you're not well off or you're poor. Everything is an adventure. The world is so big as a child. So, I wasn't saying like we grew up poor. We pretty much had everything we wanted, but we wasn't rich either. We wasn't in the safest neighborhood. My parents collectively probably made, maybe 50, 60,000 combined income home. But again, they made sure that we didn't go for anything. We never missed a meal. The Jordans came out. They tried to make sure, my mom would put in overtime to make sure we had it. So that was just kind of living I grew up with. Basically, they put us in sports growing up. So, year round, I was football, basketball, baseball. They kept us busy because of the environment we was in. I was in one of those neighborhoods where my mom didn't let me leave. Me and my brother, we couldn't leave out the front yard. Like everything had to be done within her supervision. We couldn't go up the street, up the block. She wanted everything to be done, right in the neighborhood. It was the only house that had a basketball goal. So all the kids would come to our house to play. So that's the type of, environment that we kind of grew up in.
Okay. So you went to Westlake High School?
I graduated from Westlake. I started at Mays High School in Atlanta, Georgia, but I graduated from Westlake High School. I went to Mays my ninth through junior year, and then made a decision to transfer due to sports. Football, I was playing football, to transfer my senior year. So I graduated from Westlake.
So you've been around. So if we say Westlake, your senior, what year did you graduate?
Came out in 2008.
Same here, my brother. See, we're the same person, man.
Absolutely.
If we talk about 2008 at Westlake, that means you know a big brolic guy named Cam Newton.
Absolutely. I grew up with Cam. So I knew Cam before even high school. We grew up playing rec ball together. We played at the same park, North Clayton Park, which is like a prestige. A lot of dope athletes that came out of there. But even before that, I was playing at another park. So we will always either play against each other or play with the same team. So I've been knowing Cam at least since like 9-10 years old.
That's dope. The few times I've seen him, he's always been like a laid back person. And I think that's extremely valuable, even in your presence right now, knowing who you are and going through the things you say, even when you say like a biological father, like I can relate to that when we're talking about me being raised by my mother, my sister, my grandparents, but that father figure wasn't there. So, but we had what you could say is the streets to help raise us, those friends, those other families, that village.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I saw one thing you mentioned was that your mother made sure you didn't go too far. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
She let you go, but didn't let you go too far. I think that's extremely valuable. I'll give a shout out to my mama for that too.
Absolutely, for sure.
So next time,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm gonna keep going.
Gonna say, you know, my mom, she divorced my biological father when I was maybe 8 months.
Yeah, okay.
So she ended up, you know, remarrying with my stepfather. I mean, he came in the picture when I was 2. So I kind of, when I had any recollection of a father figure, it was him. So, you know, he raised us, you know, through elementary school, middle school, high school, college, you know, and then some things happened. They're not together anymore, but that shaped me. I definitely give him all kudos and respect for, you know, stepping in and taking care of 2 kids that wasn't yours, so to speak.
Absolutely. You know? So now that we've brought the ice for all our viewers, we're going to go into a next segment that requires you to take whatever you're drinking, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, and to create a shot. I think is what it's called, as a shot.
Okay.
So what we'll do, you can pour a small one or a large one. I'm going to do a small one. Okay. And what we have now as far as journalist sip is one of our transition questions. So not just Woot himself and me, we're going to answer this question, but you also, as a viewer, you're going to answer this question as we dive deep into our lives. So Woot, my first question is, what is your favorite album ever, and what has it taught you?
Ooh,
I'm going to answer the same thing. So you want me to go first? You want me to answer first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. First, we got to take a shot.
There we go.
See, he going straight. So to him, it's all the same. Okay. So for me, I'm gonna go off the top, man. I ain't really put a lot of thought into it, but for me, I'm gonna say The Cool by Lupe Fiasco, which came out around that graduation time. Might have been 07, 08. It wasn't 09, so it had to be 06, 07, 08. And I think it stood out in my life because prior to that, there wasn't a lot of music that that was conceptual to that level. I'm pretty sure there was, but for me, that was the first thing that I brought into my life. I grew up heavy off of Cameron, Dipset, G Unit, T.I., anything in the South, Jeezy, all of that. And so once Lupe came around, just having an album that conceptualized in that form, it taught me that the power of art can have a extremely broad visual concept to it. And so when I say what it taught me about myself, me knowing various sides to how people work, especially being a young Black man and knowing the various facets of how we live, it taught me that I could take storytelling to another level. It didn't have to be from one spectrum. It could be from any type of spectrum. And we can flip it, make it metaphorical, do all of that. And so that was a good jump for my life when I got into the arts. And I want to definitely forever give a shout out to The Cool, Lupe Fiasco.
Dope. For me, I have 2, right? So for one of it, I would have to say T.I. Which album was it? Urban Legend. So for me, T.I., being from Atlanta, like I said, I grew up on Adamsville, MLK, Bankhead is like literally an exit up. So he spoke my language.
That's
You know what I
crazy.
mean? It was very relatable. And I remember just being young, maybe middle school. My brother was in high school at the time. And I remember even elementary school, I remember T.I. running around passing out CDs before he was who he is today.
That's
So
cool.
it was very relatable. He had songs, and I think on the album was like Motivation and Bring 'Em Out, ASAP. So he was talking just what I was going through in the neighborhood. Everything he talked about, I can literally go see. I can see Magic City. I can go see Bankhead. I can see Bowen Homes. Like, it was very relatable. So, and he gave a different perspective from, although he was talking about being in the trap, he was talking about getting out of the trap, or, providing a better situation for your family and your mom and your grandparents. You know what I mean? So hearing that, playing football, those were some songs, ASAP, Bring 'Em Out, Motivation. I was playing those records before we would go out on the field just to get motivated and inspired. You know what I mean? And you just, growing up, just being a mother's boy, or just being kind of, raised by your mom and your stepfather, you want to get them out of those situations. You know what I mean? And I'll just say T.I. just kind of spoke to my life. Like, everything he went through, I feel like I went through it in a sense, but in my own, in my own way. And the second album I'll probably say is Jay-Z Blueprint album early on. Like, I think that's probably one of the first physical albums I remember just seeing, and I was young, but my stepfather at the time, I think he purchased that record. So, and honestly, before then, I never even heard of just, I had to be 8, 9, 10, just young when the album came out. And just had a different perspective from a New York, what's going on else around the world. Obviously, I knew what was going on here in Atlanta. So I would say Jay-Z just showed, because Jay-Z mindset has always just been on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? The guys he's with now, he didn't start with. So he's always just had a mindset of elevating and just taking life to the next level. He's always had a higher thinking. And I think that's why I related to it, because I'm the same way. Even though I was in the environment I was coming up in, I was always just envisioning me being somewhere else in life. So I think both of those albums kind of just shaped me, to who I am.
You always envision yourself being somewhere else in life. And I want to take a step back. I need to take a step. We can go forward. But I mentioned a lot that I listen to. Rockefeller is my favorite record label, I guess, quote unquote, movement ever. Like, as far as even me growing up, I think we were kind of swapped. I listen to New York stuff more than I listen to down south stuff before 10 years old. And then it kind of after 10, I transitioned. So for me, I'm kind of jealous, just the idea of like an urban legend and a king and all that come out, and like that's down the street from you. And then even out through what you talking about, Jeezy, Gucci, like that's Atlanta is so much. And I know it's split up, but at the same time, like being there, that's got to be an amazing thing to take in as a young black man. So my next question, before our next transition question, is, as an A&R, right? What is, there's different ways I can take this question. I'm gonna say, what do you think is most valuable in an artist?
Most valuable in the artist? That's a good question. Most valuable, I would probably say their work ethic. Because work ethic would beat talent any day. You know what I mean? You have a lot of people out here who just God-given talent, just naturally can sing or naturally can rap, but that's only going to get you so far in life. You know what I mean? Like, that teaches you lessons in other classes of life, but just the work ethic, the mentality. You know what I mean? I've seen artists like grind. Like, again, I just brought up T.I., for example. Like, I remember him going up to the high schools, passing out CDs, people throwing them. Who is this? You know what I mean? So it's just that work ethic, that determination to not be stopped by any means. I'm gonna make sure, I achieve my goal. So I'll say it's work ethic, because the talent to get you in the room, but the work ethic will make you stay, will create a legacy for you. You know what I mean? That's why you see a lot of overnight successes, because, people get these one songs and they go viral, they on the charts and they get comfortable.
Yeah.
And you don't have anything else to follow up behind it, because your work ethic was never there in the beginning, to start with. You was playing around, caught a hit, and it just went viral. And, you never really had the foundation before that to get you to, that viral moment. So once all eyes are on you, you don't have a follow-up, because just the work ethic was never there. So I'll say, for me, it's the work ethic and the mindset.
That's a bar, man. So I just want to give you props for what you do. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, but once I became a teenager, the first job I wanted to have was to be an A&R. Shout out to Steve Stout. I think he started like an internship around like 14, 15. I applied like back to back, never got it. But even in that time, I'm a DJ myself. So music has an important place in my heart. And music, I think, is the storyline to everybody's life. So right now, at our next transitional question, which means everybody, whether you have a alcoholic or non-alcoholic drink, pour you a small or whatever size shot that fits your mood. Next question, we're gonna go dive a little deeper because with Expo, we got a little less time because we can do this all day. So my question is this: everybody, get your pens out, get your answers together. What's the most life-shaking experience you've ever been through, and what did it teach you? What's the most life-shaking experience you've been through?
Okay.
What did it teach you?
Life shaking. So for me, right, I gotta kind of tell the story to make it put it on.
Hold on. We gotta do it just a little bit.
Right. Go ahead.
All right, now tell us the truth.
No, that's the truth. So for me, growing up in high school, just growing up in general, like I said, my mom makes sure we dress nice, the clothes. You know, when you growing up, that's kind of all that matters in life. Girls, clothes, shoes, make money if you have some. So just growing up, I was one of the popular kids playing football, especially throughout high school. We was throwing parties on weekends. So, you know, at that time, I'm throwing parties. Me and my team, we splitting $3,000-$4,000. So it's just you create this perception of who you are, you know, in high school. Just like, oh, that's Woot, that's his crew. They, you know, they got money, or they got the girls, they got the clothes, whatever, right? You go out to college. I'm playing football in college. Same thing. We still throwing parties. And we just moving around, right? Graduate college. I took my first like corporate job with Enterprise and kind of worked my way through the system. And was able to get to, you know, a branch manager level, making good money for a 24, 23-year-old kid, you know what I mean? And at that point in time, I ended up getting fired. I lost my job, right? Okay. And again, you got this perception, you know, what your perception or your reputation is outside of you. You know, how people look at you. Oh, you're gonna have, you know, clothes, whatever, you know. And I went through a transition where I didn't work for 9 to 10 months, and it wasn't that I wasn't not applying for jobs. It's just nobody wasn't really, you know, replying back when I would submit the application. So I had to go through a period of time, bro. Like I feel like God had to kind of set me down for a second. You know what I mean? And all of those things that I held high and dear to my life, they were stripped away. Money, you know, couldn't go shopping for, again, months at a time. Even if I wanted to reach out to a chick, probably didn't have the money to take her out. You know what I mean? So all of those things I held, all of those things that I thought were important in life were literally stripped away from me. You know what I mean? To the point where I had to lean on my parents and my mom and brother for financial, you know what I mean, assistance. And it took me to my lowest point in life, bro. I'm not even like, I got into a very depressed state at one point, and you know, suicide came into play. So it was a very low point at that point. But you know, I'm always one of those people who's just like, you know, have faith, pray, and just look for those signs. So I would probably say that's probably the lowest. Like everything that I just at that time, again, I felt that was important, which is really not important in life, right? It's really not at this point. I'm older now, I'm wiser, so I'm able to kind of prioritize what's important and what's not. But at that point in time, again, being 23, 24, and feeling like you at the height of your life, so to speak, everything you want is in arm's reach, and to be stripped away from all of that, it took me to the lowest point, you know. And what made me come out of that, I kid you not, bro, I had went to my family, one of my aunt's cousins, I'll say, she hosts a Christmas event every year, right? And family comes over, they kind of run a whole program. It's literally a whole show. Like we eat, then they have a whole program, pass out gifts. But this particular time, a friend of the family got up and spoke, and she just told a story about her brother had just committed suicide. And at that point, I really just felt like everything slowed down around me. I felt like God was talking to me through her. Literally everything I can even remember who was standing next to me. So she told a story about her brother committed suicide because he felt alone. You know, no, he had family. He just felt alone internally. You know what I mean? And at the end of the story, long story short, she just said, you know, whenever you feel like you're alone, just call on God. Call on him. There's always somebody there. He's always there to answer anything for me. And I literally, when she said it, I kid you not, I feel like the world just slowed down. And he was talking directly through me to her. And that honestly got me back, just like got me out of that funk, got me out of that depressive state. I called on him, and I just started, just being, I'm not the most spiritual person in the world, but I just started to really just like seek him and stop trying to seek validation through other means. You know what I mean? And it just it brought everything back full circle.
Absolutely, man. That's a dope story. So that's what we're here for right now.
Right.
So I was gonna just ask what you learned, but you kind of added that in there as far as being able to, I ain't even gonna say trust or have faith, but connect to a higher power and a higher reasoning for why you are actually here. Because look at 2020, man, so much wrong has happened. I guess you would say wrong. So much that we didn't want to happen, or so much has went left. Like, you can have those moments where you question, like for what? Like, why? Like, why are we here? What are we here for? And so to be able to have that connection is very valuable, especially on this journey that we call life. And so it's dope to see you where you are now. And I think that's lit, man. I think that's lit, bro. That was a good story. I was gonna answer. My answer has been when I started a baby, my grandfather passed. I was studying abroad and just looking at life. I had to wonder, what is life really about? And it's kind of the same thing. It's like life is bigger than us. Like, it ain't just about me. It just ain't about myself. Like, me being stuck here, it's about, okay, I have a value to this world. What can I give to this world? Because one day I won't be here. Whether it be whatever form or fashion that it comes to that end, I have to do something between now and then to make an impact, to help somebody, to shake something up. And so it's dope to be, even in this moment, so I got to talk to you. So, I also say that was my first time being depressed. That's 2009, before it was more of an open conversation. So, man, I'm saying we going deep. So I hope everybody watching, you answer that question also. Throw it in the comments. Do whatever you need to do. Let us know your answer. We can talk about it, man. And so for this last question, this last transition question, I got to do a baby joint right here. I can't.
Go ahead.
I can't do it so much. So you already got yours. This last question is this. It's twofold. I'm going to ask you directly.
Okay.
Given where you are now, where do you want to be? And what do you have to do to get there? So right now, where you are,
right.
Where you from Atlanta, so I know it ain't like I'm good where I'm at. I know it's not that. It's always another level. So what is that level, and what do you have to do to get there?
So
hold up. I gotta set the standard.
Let's do it.
Talk to us.
So where I want to be, right? Publishing has became a passion of mine, because I now understand how it works and how it works and how you can live off of it musically wise for the rest of your life, right? So I've been around the music game for a minute now. So honestly, what I want to do, I want to start the first independent Black publishing company, to where I can go out, sign talent, I have my own capital to be able to give you an advance or give you an admin deal, whatever you seek. It'll just be Black owned and Black ran, because obviously, in the music world, it's ran by the Jews, it's ran by other races. And we don't really have a voice, especially like I said, publishing is the most important thing. That's something you can feed your kids, family off of. That's what we see, in a sense, Kanye arguing about now. And you have other artists that's coming full circle to talk about, just bad deals. So I want to be to start the first, independent, huge Black owned publishing company that can compete with a Sony ATV, Warner Chappell, the other bigger publishing names out there. And in order for me to get there, honestly, it's going to be just continue to do what I'm doing now. Obviously, I'm a trusted face at this point in the music industry. People, come to me to consult about deals, consult about anything music related as it relates to the business side. They're coming to me for, and I'm still signing deals every day with different creatives in the music space. So it's just for me to continue to do good by people, keep my face, and face and name good, do the right business, and still just be a trusted face. As like I said, the deals are coming in. I'm blessed to be in the position that I am now. So I just continue to do what I'm doing now, just to take it do it, take it to another level. Time seeing just year after year, just continue to climb. And keep it going. That's it. And just head down working. You know what I mean? Everything else, just kind of tunnel vision. Everything else doesn't matter. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with it.
Yeah, continuing is key. Continuing is key. I had a second part of that to that question. And it's definitely there for everybody viewing. The second part is, if you know what you should be doing or what you can be doing to get to that next level, why aren't you doing it? And you're letting me know right now that you're doing it, because again, continuing and keeping it going, that's going to get you where you're going. I know we talk about, you can go ahead.
No, I say absolutely. I'm agreeing.
Yeah. When it comes to work, whether you look at the 10,000 hour rule or whatever, or whether you look at passion, we talk about the Passion Expo. If you care about what you're doing, you just keep doing the work, and the blessings are going to come. The advancement is going to come. The growth is going to come. And I think that's one thing we all gotta stay true to and be proud of, man. So I think we hit 3 good questions now. Me as a music guy, I like to call myself a music connoisseur. I forgot what LeBron said, a hip hop historian, whatever he said.
Right.
I like to feel like I'm that. Right? I like to feel like if I could do clubhouse rooms, I could do what happened last night, and well, not what happened last night, but one of those nights where we running it. Like right. I never talk about the value of music, and I think I got to bring you back around so we can talk about the value of music. I want to be able to talk about a whole lot of stuff, especially from an A&R standpoint. I think music is the most valuable thing we have in the arts. I think dance, I say music and then dance. So anybody want to judge me on that? You want to not judge me. I don't care if you judge me, but if you want to talk to me about that, we can go deep into that because I want to hear your thoughts. But I think music being a universal language is extremely powerful. And I appreciate you. I'm proud of you. I'm thankful for you for being able to and shout out to Ayo and Keys, man.
Absolutely.
Big shout out. That's what I'm saying. We can go so deeper, bro. We could go a whole
we really kept it surface level because I don't really think that people know what's really going on.
Man, oh man. So if we maybe we're gonna do this again, we're gonna flip it, but this is the introduction as far as Journaling Sip. We're gonna make it some full episodes, which evidently might have to be an hour and a half. So I appreciate you, Woot. It's a great thing. On the way out, last thing, if you could tell someone, a young kid, middle school, high school, who, is only interested in sports, who's only who don't really know, what they can do in life, they ain't been exposed to it yet. What's something you would tell them given where you are now?
Like I said, I don't want to be spiritual, but for me, coming out of college, bro, I went to college for sports. I was lost. Obviously, I knew I was very creative. I love music. I was just very creative. So I'll say, just follow your dreams. Listen to God's direction and whatever seeds He's planting for you or signs He's giving you. Just seek them. You know what I mean? Because that's really what happened for me. That's where I'm at now. Is I just followed the direction of whatever He was bringing into my universe. At first, I was like, what is this? Why are people coming at me about music? I don't do music. You know what I mean? When I finally just let that go and just follow through with it, I'm here now. You know what I mean? So just follow your goals, man. Stay focused. And like I said, I don't want to be spiritual. I'm not the most spiritual person, but just follow God's direction. Just listen to that voice because it's true. It's powerful.
Hey, man, you keep saying you want to be spiritual, but I'm asking you to keep what you're doing right now is preaching, so I want you to keep doing that. You ain't even gotta have a
so that's a little,
No, but I'm saying you ain't gotta have a pulpit, you ain't gotta have a church. As long as you saying what's honest, we on the same page. As long as you saying what's honest and can help somebody, you doing your thing, man. You ain't gotta put that suit on. The suit you got on is better than that suit. So we lit with that.
Cool. I love it, bro. Like I said, I appreciate y'all for having me, man. We definitely gotta do this again and really dive into some music. I can really drop some real gems for people who are inspired to kind of be in the business for sure.
Absolutely. So we thank everybody for tuning in to Journaling Sip. We're going to call this the pilot episode because we're going to be back for one of the real episodes because we got a long way to go. We're going to go a little deep into it. So we thank you all, and we're going to keep it moving as far as Passion Expo goes, man. Thank you, Woot.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man.